Hello everyone, my name is Angelica and welcome to my channel. For today I prepare a slightly different video. I won't be creating any new projects. I will be sharing with you what do I use to create them and what are my favorite tools. I'm not a big crafter or DIYer. I would say I'm someone just between these two. I do sometimes small craft projects and sometimes something bigger like furniture makeovers. I like to experiment in different categories, techniques or scale of the project. So today I will show you the tools and products which I use the most. I try not to include anything from specific category or needed for specific job. So I won't tell you that you need a drill or sewing machine because this will depend on what you currently working on. It will be a collection of products which I've used many times in my previous projects, and because I've created over 100 different projects from different categories, I can say I got some small experience. I've made this video with a thought of someone who is just starting the journey with craft and looking for some ideas where to start or what they need. These days shops are full of craft and DIY supplies and it might feel overwhelming at first. But trust me, you don't need them all and you don't have to spend a fortune. All the products which I will show in this video will be linked in the description box down below. Some of the items are exact same which I have, some of them are the ones which I think they worth recommendation, so you can go and always check them out. Starting with tool number 1, which is hot glue gun. This little tool accompanies me in so many different projects. I went through few of them in my life, but at the moment my favorite one is Hotto cordless hot glue gun. I was actually kindly gifted this a few months back, but this video is not sponsored by them. It's actually a very good glue gun. It heats up very quickly. You know when it's ready by the small light on the top. It's cordless, so you can use it anywhere you are. The end is quite thin, so maybe it's not the best for bigger scale projects when you need a bigger amount of glue at once, but honestly I didn't have that problem yet. Apart from being very helpful, it also looks good, which gives it an extra point. I also have my old hot glue gun. This one as well is very good for what it is and how much it costs. The only problem with this one is that the cable is quite short and the gun itself is quite light, so it doesn't want to stand up straight on the table, but overall it does the jobs perfectly. So in my opinion, hot glue gun is a must-have in every toolbox. I can honestly go on and on about how many times this little tool helped me in my projects. And of course, don't forget about the glue sticks. Honestly, I can't tell you if there is any difference between the ones which cost £1 or the ones which cost £5. Maybe the durability of the strength of the glue is different, but I usually go for the cheapest one and never had any problems. You don't have to be an artist or painter to have a small collection of good quality brushes in different sizes. In most of my projects I'm using acrylic paints, so the best brushes for these are the synthetic ones. Look for the ones which are quite soft in touch so they don't leave visible marks on your project. Sometimes it is better to pay a little bit more, as this is something what will last you years if you look after it. I have a collection of different sizes, like also shapes of the brushes ends. My brushes are actually from Lidl, so I didn't spend a fortune on them, but they are pretty good. If you are planning to buy a new brushes, think also about the paints. It's good to have few basic colors in your drawer. You never know when you're gonna need them. And then when you actually planning specific art or project, you can get the extra colors you need. Spray paint, especially white, is always handy to have, as sometimes it's just much easier to give your project few layers of spray paint than going along with your brush. Whatever you do, there will always be a time when you need a pair of scissors. It might sound obvious, but having few pairs of good and sharp scissors will make so many projects just much easier. Just imagine cutting your macrame cord with dual scissors. You will lose your patience before you even start creating the first knots. Like for example, these scissors, they look super pretty and stylish, but they absolutely useless. I tried to sharpen them, but it didn't help, so I just keep them on my desk as a decoration. You need something more reliable. I have a collection of a few different ones in different sizes. Sometimes you don't need the massive ones if you only want to cut small pieces off. That's why it's good to have a few different sizes. These ones were actually designed to cut different materials, but honestly I don't know which one is for what, and I just use them all for whatever I need. If you know me for longer, you must know that I like working with air dry clay. By the way, all the projects I've created so far using this product are collected together in one playlist and linked down below. So these tools might seem to be very specific for clay category, but because I use the product so often, naturally I use a lot of these tools. When I was creating my first air dry clay creation, I thought I don't need any of these. But then, for some reason, I decided to purchase it and I don't regret it at all. The clay toolkit is absolutely a genius invention. All the ends are designed for specific jobs that need to be done. You can engrave in the clay, you can give it wanted shapes, cuts and dents. It's a really inexpensive set, but if you're planning a few projects with air dry clay, this will make them so much easier. Also, don't forget about the rolling pin. I have this one which I only use for my crafts. The best ones are probably the acrylic ones, but as you can see I have wooden ones and never had any problems with it. Next little set, which is very handy to have, is the hobby knife kit. It's usually a small box with one knife arm and a few different knife ends which can be easily changed. Hobby knives can be used in a variety of ways. They are not just used by hobbyists, but by artists, designers, soap makers and DIYers. They are used to trim, carve, cut and make shapes in materials like plastic, paper, leather and even wood. This of course will depend on the quality of your knife. I wouldn't say mine are sharp and strong enough to cut through the plastic, but if you invest just a little bit more money, you can expect great results. You can cut everything with the scissors, and instead of using your knives from the kitchen, it's nice to have separate set in your office or craft room. Next product, which I found super handy and I used it so many times, is Podge. Podge is a glue, sealer and finish designed for craft and art projects. It's thicker than school glue as it's not watered down. It's non-toxic and water-based, which makes all the brushes so much easier to clean after use. It dries out transparent and you can have a different finishes depending on which Podge you use. There are so many different ones, but I found these two the most common and most useful for me. I never had the need of buying the different ones. I use it as a glue if I want to glue two pieces of paper together and as a sealer for all of my clay projects. Good tip if you want to save some money is buying a big bottle of PVA glue instead of Podge. PVA is slightly thicker than Podge, but you can easily add some water and stir it well. It's basically same product, just Podge is designed more for hobbies, that's why the price is higher. Sanding paper is an inexpensive item which I think is worth keeping in your craft room. I usually use it in my every clay projects, but it comes really helpful with furniture makeovers, thrift flips, or if you want to prepare any surface before painting. I have the sander, but that's an expensive option and only worth buying if you are planning bigger scale projects. Sanding paper comes in different grades, which is good to find out what they actually mean before starting to use them. It might prevent the damage to your item. Sanding blocks are also very good, especially the soft ones which allow you to reach more hidden areas. Next item again might seem obvious, but sometimes items like that are the most underrated. I'm talking about measuring tape and the ruler. Measuring tape is great for bigger scale projects like furniture makeovers or if you build something from the scratch. Tailoring tape, it's great for measuring the macrame cord or if you want to measure the circuit of any round item. Ruler, we all know how and when to use it, but not everyone have it. With some projects you have to be very accurate and precise because even a few millimeters mistake might cost you the loss of the whole project. So this is a tool which everyone needs because doing project by your eye is just not worth the risk. This item is actually not owned by me, but I might include it on the letter to the Santa this year. I have a few different tools which I often use in my project, but they're actually not my tools. They're usually all over the place and it takes me a time to look for it. So little toolkits, like for example this one from IKEA, always comes super handy. They usually include the most common and used tools like screwdriver, hammer or pliers. It's perfect for all basic needs at home. Oh, look at this pink and stylish little tool set. It makes you want to do some small jobs around the house. They usually come in a box, so they're all nicely kept together and you know where to look for them. And last but not least is the item where you are going to keep most of the items which I've mentioned before. If you like to be organized and you believe that everything should have its own place, the toolbox will be your biggest friend. Tools can get dirty, dusty and sticky and you don't want them to lie next to your clean fabrics or inside the tidy drawers. Toolbox has its own rules or even lack of them. You can find everything in there or nothing. For small DIY or crafter, small toolbox like this will be just enough. The best ones are the ones with different sections and levers. It's nice to keep all your products and tools, the ones which you use the most, in one place. Especially if you're working in few different places, you can just grab your toolbox and you know you will find all you need inside. Okay guys, that will be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed as it was something different than I usually do. If you want to grab any of the items I've mentioned in this video, I left all the links to them down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumb up if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for more projects and all sorts of videos. And for now, thank you so much for watching, your support, and I will see you in my next video.